Hello everyone, hope you all are doing great in your life. And today we will be going ahead with a topic like the Qbot malware. We will try to understand what exactly it is and what exactly it does, and also we will talk about the latest trend that we are observing in the cyberspace, that is the Qbot is utilized like it is delivered using the OneNote. So here I will also show you a live example of a real life OneNote malware sample which is trying to download the Qbot. And yes, let's get started. Qbot is a dangerous malware that infects the computers and the network devices, and it is also classified as a banking trojan. This means that since we are calling it as a banking trojan, this means it has the capability to design like the your sensitive informations like the passwords, credit card numbers, and the bank account details, uh, etc. Qbot is highly organized and sophisticated piece of malware that can remain undetected on an infected computer for an extended period. So this is basically done by the malware goes into a slipping. The malware itself in the code there is a slip module which is like for the extended duration, and during that duration the malware will basically not work or it will not be executed in the system, and that's how like the EDR or any other detecting engines will not be able to detect it. So it has the ability to rapidly spread itself throughout the network and infect multiple devices, making it a major threat and to the individuals as well as the organizations. So Quackbot. So here we are looking at a malware which is just not a new malware. It was almost discovered 2008, and we can almost say that it is being 15 years, but still the malware is still present. But yeah, obviously the variants and the how it is, there were like lot of updates, and how it is today and how it was long back, it is like slightly different. But that particular malware is still present. So we can tell that the Quackbot malware has been like constantly getting updates, and since to 2020 this Quackbot again came into news, and there was a 465% increase in its year-over-year share of cyber attacks. In 2021, we have observed this Quackbot malware, which leveraged a prominent cyber breach of JPS, which actually disrupted the mid production facilities and also forced an $11 million of ransom payments. So these numbers are like is something to be worried about, and this itself clarifies us that how much dangerous this malware can potentially be if not detected early. So the Quackbot has been observed in the ransomware, where like Reveal ransomware, Prolog, and Logbit, and all these ransomware were observed that the Quackbot was the early stage, and then later the ransomware was downloaded, and encryption and data exfiltration was happening. So Quackbot is the starting of this attack, that you can say. And Quackbot also has many modules which like it will try to steal your important data and give back to the C2 server. So C2 server is basically a CNC server. So or you can also tell it as a command and control. So basically whenever your system is infected and it needs some commands, or you where whatever data you are having in your system, you need to send to a server, right? That's how a cyber criminal is going to like take advantage of your compromise, right? He needs your data. So that data is possible, that data exfiltration is possible with this particular malware. So we need to be aware of it. So here I have tried to take one example of the real life Quackbot, how exactly the chain looks like, and this is taken from a Trend Micro article. I will also put the link in the description where you can go ahead and read this article to know more about this Quackbot malware sample. And yeah, this is a great article written by the Trend Micro team. So kudos to them. And so let's try to understand this what exactly it is. So the first it is written that the link or the zip attachment, right? So first of all it comes through the email, and email will have the attachment, right? So whether it is zip or something, and the email, this kind of emails are known as phishing emails, where the user, you as a user will think, okay, this is something which is legit, and you are expected to as get that. So what you will do is like you will try to download that. So whenever you get a file, you will download it the file, and that will have a zip file, right? So zip, you will again unzip it, and inside that there will be a Word document. So Word document or some Microsoft Office document. So basically Microsoft Office document are known to have this macro. So in the Word file as well as Excel file, you will see the usage of the macro. So whenever you are trying to download any sample from the internet, so the macro will not be auto executed. It will always there will be a prompt in the Excel or Word like this is the macro enable document or something, and you need to enable that. So until unless you click that on that particular thing, that macro will not be executed. So remember this particular thing. So once you are clicking that, and then the macro will be executed. So basically it is kind of a base 64 code. So it will try to execute that code, and it will have a malicious URL embedded inside it. So it will try to connect to that URL and then download the Qbot payload. So up to here, this is the chain, and then from Qbot, so it is like the drops and execute the Qbot payload. So once it is there, it is trying to download it. So it will come back in the host, right, in from which it was compromised. So Quackbot, like it is now present in the host. It will try to copy itself to some another path, right? So you can something like temp folder or something like app data roaming folder. So basically, it will be present somewhere where the user will not visit knowingly, like something like temp folder executable is running. The user will not be going temp folder because temp folder is having so much of files, and same happens with the roaming folder. Malwares are known to be dropped over there. So yeah, um, going forward, the for file is over there, right? The Quackbot malware sample is present in the endpoint, and then it will what it will try to create auto run registry as well as a scheduled task. So basically, uh, the malware is trying to create a persistence over there. So once we need to understand this very carefully, like once the whole system is like infected, the if the system is shut down, and so what the threat actor will do, will they do this whole exercise again, or it is instead they will try to keep the persistence over there so that whenever it comes back online, it can try to connect to the C2 server, right? So so these are the methods which are observed in the wild that the malwares are using to create the persistence. So persistence is basically something which is like one of the very important question in the interviews, and it is something which the malware tries to gain to remain persistent in the system, like whenever they are, so that the malware like the C2 server doesn't lose connection to the particular host, which the compromised host, right? So yeah, so one is the scheduled task and another way is the run keys, so basically auto run registry. So once it is there, it will try to connect to the C2 server, and then we all know the C2 server can send any commands, and then it can like able to drop another payload, right? Or it can like stage 3 payload, like something like the prologue ransomware or something. So all these things, and whether they can try to like like send your crucial information. We have seen like the password or something to the C2 server, and the attacker can hacker here can know your passwords or something without even doing anything. So this is a kill chain or the attack stages of the Quackbot malware sample. And yes, so this is the latest OneNote campaign which is observed in the Quackbot malware sample, and this is actually leveraging the Microsoft OneNote. So Microsoft OneNote is something which the attackers have never targeted, and this is something very new for the cyber industry. So previously, as we have observed in the previous slide, like the attacker have used the other documents where the macro was used, but here itself the OneNote document is used as an, and it is embedded with a code, base 64 code, and then it will try to connect to the C2 server, and then it will try to download the payload or the Quackbot malware sample, which is loaded inside the memory. So let's go to the mm, this one. So first is the spam email delivery. Okay, so this is taken from this great article by the Security Boulevard, and you I will also give a description uh, I will also try to give this link in the description where you can go ahead and read about this article again. And so let's try to understand what exactly it is happening here. So here, as we can see, this is a spam email delivery initiating the legitimate company or the message thread injection. So basically it will try to convince you whether that it is a legit email sample, and it will try to convince the user basically. So you go ahead and click this OneNote sample and download it, right? So this OneNote sample will land in the host with some social engineering skill to into the user execution, right? The user need to execute that, like double click it or press enter clicking it or something like that. You need to execute that OneNote malware sample, then only the particular code will be executed, because that particular base64 code is encoded inside this OneNote document. So the OneNote document will spawn the cmd.exe, and then that cmd.exe will have a base64 PowerShell encoded command, and then it will try to go to the C2 server, and then it will try to run the download the Qbot malware sample, which again will have the persistence as mentioned in the previous slide, and it will try to load it into the memory and run via this run dll32.exe. Basically, a DLL, Qbot DLL will be loaded inside the memory with the run dll32.exe. So this is the whole chain which is observed in the latest Qbot malware sample. So this is one of the pic which is taken from the Sophos article. I will also put a link in the description where you can again go ahead and read this article about this OneNote malware sample. So basically, as you can see, the user has already downloaded the OneNote malware sample, and it is trying to tempt the user to click it. As you can see here, it is trying to tell the user this document contains attachments from the cloud, to receive them double click open. So the it is tempting the user, to click this open, and whenever you click it, it will just start executing the encoded command. So yeah, this is how the OneNote malware sample is uh, leveraged by the attackers. So now we will try to understand a real life Quackbot malware sample, and I have taken one malware sample from the virus total, and I will show you how even you can go ahead and analyze this malware particularly, which is leveraging the OneNote sample. So here we will try to understand this particular malware sample which I have collected from virus total. So if you can see my screen, this is the SHA value of that particular file, original.1, and these are the details. So it is currently detected by 27 vendors, so kind of malicious. So, and here if you see Quackbot malware, OneNote downloader Qbot. So yeah, and if you go to details, these are the SHA value, this is the MD5 and community. Again, there would be some Joe sandbox analysis result. Let's try and go to the Joe sandbox analysis result. So this is the Joe sandbox analysis result, original.1. This is the malware sample looking like, and detection is malicious, as well as these are the processes that is trying to run, and that's it. Now let's go back to my VM and try to understand what exactly it is trying to do. So let's try and figure it out. So let me just go ahead and do it from the starting. So first of all, let me just delete them. So yep, so here I am doing ls listing of commands. So here is a sample is, so let's try to understand what type of sample is this. TRIT sample. So here it is told us this is a OneNote sample, and then I will try to do simple strings command, strings sample, and I will try to take the output in a let's say strings dot txt. So you can see here strings dot txt has already appeared over here, and let me try to delete everything from here. So yep, so yeah, strings.txt has appeared over here, so we will go there. These are all gibberish, we no need to understand anything over there. So main juice article will be here. So this is the main juice, so just copy it, and we'll try to copy it in a text editor, right? So we can try it like code txt, and we'll just paste it over there. Control O, save it, Control X, exit it, and that's how it is. And cad code.txt, and it will try to be coded here. So this is how the sample is looking like, and let me just improve it little bit. So the code is, I hope it is, you are able to see the code right now. Let me just try to reduce the screen. So this is the code, right? This is the from base64 string. So basically this code is the base64 up to here, and then it is trying to put the output over here in in.cmd, and it is also asking the it to start from this. But you can see here start in.cmd. This is basically minimize and in.cmd. So let's try to grab this base64 and try to understand. Let's try to understand what exactly it is trying to do. Base64 copy, and we will go and use the cyber shift tool. Basically paste over here, and let me try to just increase little bit. So 170 is fine. So here, if you see here, the code has already appeared from base64. I will try to do. So this is the code, right? So it is like echo off. It is going to a PowerShell URI, that is this is your IOC, and then it is dropping a file in the putty.jpg, and again it is trying to execute that putty.jpg with rundll. So rundll is executing not putty.jpg with that is as previously explained, it is a jpg file, right? So sorry, it is a dll file. So here it is trying to execute a dll file using going to this particular URL. And I think here you have here you have already got two artifacts too here. Like one is the IOC, this one is like the URL which is trying to connect, and then this is one of the file that is trying to you have in your system, like in your endpoint. If you'll have this kind of file, if it is there, that means it is like already been compromised with Qbot, right? So here also, and one more is like in.cmt. So these are the things which you can go ahead and look into the in your host. And that is pretty much it for this video, and I hope that you have learned something today. And if you have learned something, please do consider subscribing to this channel. This is at a very early stage of my channel, but I will regularly try to post some valuable content. And I hope you have liked this today's video about Quackbot. And if you have learned something new, or at least I will just be happy if you just consider liking the video as well as subscribing a video would be just a great. And please do comment if you have any doubts on this video, or if you want me to improve on something, or anything, any feedback, anything will be just be encouraged. Yes. Till then, thank you, keep watching Human Cyber, and logging off.